Good morning, Scratchers. Today we're going to be recreating the classic 1945. This is a scrolling shooter game where we pilot a P38, that's the plane on the bottom, and we move it back and forth and shoot upwards. We're going to have enemies coming down at us. We're also going to have islands passing underneath us, and we'll have a chance to explore a lot of different ideas in Scratch. Let's go ahead and pop inside. You'll notice that we have preloaded this with sprites from the game. These are actually sprites from the original video game that have thankfully been released under a Creative Commons public license, which means we have a legal right to use it. The creators have basically said, if you want anybody in the world to be able to play with these sprites, recreate our video game, we're happy to share that with you guys, which is very generous of them and allows us to have some really nice sprites to play with. The first of these is going to be this P38. Now, one of the things we'd like to do is we'd like to make it look as though this P-38 was flying over a blue ocean. We've kind of got a good start to that because we've got this blue backdrop that kind of looks like water. But right now, it doesn't really look like a plane is flying at all. It's just kind of hanging there in space. So what could we do to make this look like it was actually flying? Well, one of the tricks we can do is animate the plane. And notice that we have these different costumes that have been preloaded. And if we actually click through these costumes, it looks like the plane actually has spinning propellers, and that's because each one of these is identical except for the propellers, which have slight differences between each frame. So if we cycle through those quickly enough, it will create that illusion that the propellers are actually spinning. So let's go back to our code, and we're going to start with a event block that when green flag is clicked that we often use in our Scratch projects. And we want to change what costume we're wearing. Notice we have several different ways of switching costumes. We can actually pick a costume from the list with the switch costume to block, or we can just use this next costume block, which for our uses right now is perfectly fine, because if we just trigger this block over and over again, we get that animated feeling to our plane. But we want this to happen basically as long as our game is running. So we're also going to add a control block that will keep going basically forever. So we're going to use that forever block to say, after we click that green flag, we want our plane to be flying forever. And now you can see that animation just loops continuously. It creates the illusion that those propellers are spinning very rapidly. And now it kind of feels like we're flying, even though our sprite's not moving at all. And speaking of the sprite not moving, that's going to be the next thing that we're going to work on.